Hi, my name is Liezl. Today I'd like to share with you two yin poses that can really help with when you're feeling anxious. Anxiety often, we feel it very intensely in the body. It's your heart beating inside your chest, but it can also feel like your mind just not really able to focus on anything or get any sense of being present. So without saying too much more, we're going to get started. All you need is just a space where you can come comfortably down onto your mat. So you don't need a lot of props, although if you like, having a bolster might be useful, especially if your shoulders or your knees are a bit sensitive. So we'll get started very simply in table pose. We'll come into the body for a moment, and then we'll move into the two poses that I'd like to share with you today. So just take a moment to kind of flow into it. It's not so easy to just come immediately into stillness when we're feeling anxious. And then from here, after you've moved around a bit, tuck your toes under. Begin to walk your hands back, roll over onto the balls of your feet. And then from here, we'll lift through the hips and keep the chest nice and low. So go ahead, take a moment, shake your head out. And you'll see that I have a nice generous bend in the backs of my legs because my body is quite cold and I want to take it nice and easy. And you can start with your fingers either just resting on the floor, and if they're not quite reaching here, you're also welcome to wrap your hands into your elbows. So coming into this pose, you're welcome to swing a little bit from side to side, kind of feeling into the edges of where your body is at. And then begin to visualize yourself growing heavier in the body. So deepen your breath, slow your breath down. Take a gaze down to your toes. Notice how the weight shifts in your feet as you gently rock forwards and back. And then when you feel ready, you're welcome to close your eyes. Allow your upper body to get heavier, so you have the sense that you're pouring forwards like a waterfall. Begin to feel how the spine gently lengthens out. And notice in particular, how does your head and your lower back feel? Notice if you're still holding yourself up through the neck and the head, and see if you can really just soften the head completely so that the neck and the head lengthen out as well, closer to the floor. Begin to tune into a sense of stillness, and the only thing that moves is your breath gently coming in and out of your nose. If you like, if your lower back feels good, you can straighten the legs slightly, seeing if you can find a bit more length. But be mindful of your lower back, because the more you straighten the legs, the more tension or stretching you will feel across the lower back area. We're going to take another 3-4 deep breaths here. Seeing if you can find really deep release through this pose, spine heavy, and just noticing how blood flows gently to the head. If you feel dizzy, you can always bend the knees, lift the chest and the head slightly higher. But if you're feeling okay, see if you can stay for 2 more deep, slow breaths. Good. Releasing, dangling pose. Bend the knees. Begin to walk the fingers forward.
And drop your knees down towards the mat. We'll move straight into child's pose. So toes come together, open your knees slightly wider, maybe bringing your knees as wide as your mat. Come down onto the forearms first. Take 2-3 breaths here and just notice how it feels for the flow of blood to even out between your head and your chest. Notice if your breath has slowed down by itself. And then when you're ready, bring the hands together, stacking the one hand on top of the other before resting your forehead down to the hands to take child's pose. So we're all very familiar with child's pose. Allow yourself to come into it though without expectations. See if you can approach it with beginner's mind. And if you find that child's pose here is not a good option because of your knees, feel free to just lie on your back with the knees bent and the feet on the ground. The idea of this pose is to find grounding and release. So really feel the heaviness in your hips, in your shoulders. If you need to, move your elbows out wider. Allow your belly to soften. And allow your breath to become very soft and graceful as it moves in and out through the nose. You don't have to do an ujjayi breath or any particular kind of breath. But see if you can just find the breath that really feels soothing and nurturing to your body. Allow it to be deeper, slower, and allow the breath to be free, moving through your back ribs, your middle back, all the way down to your lower back. See if you can get a sense of all the thoughts in your head grounding down through your hands into the earth. And whenever you find your mind popping into the future or the past, anything besides this moment, see if you can just gently invite it back. Feel your head resting on your hands. Feel your breath moving in your belly. And see if you can stay for 3 more deep, full breaths. Creating pause between the thoughts. Creating pause between the thoughts and the reactions. See if you can feel your heartbeat slowing down. And then on your next inhalation, gently lift your head, push up through your hands. Bring your knees together on one side of your mat. Drop your sitting bones. And then slowly make your way onto your back. So here, knees bent, feet wide, hands by your sides. Take a moment to feel that rush of release through the body. In child's pose, we constrict the flow of blood slightly from the legs for a moment, bringing greater circulation towards the belly, towards the organs. So allow that space to be free now. So really breathe into your belly, down into your feet. See if you can just enjoy the sensations moving through your body. Good. We'll take 3 more breaths here in this constructive rest pose, helping to soften out the lower back and releasing the spine. And then when you're ready, you can sit up and continue with the rest of your day. Feel free to do this as often as you need until you feel more calm. From my side, thank you so much for joining and wishing you a great rest of the day. I hope you've really enjoyed this experience of Yin Yoga. Hopefully you've seen how even 1 or 2 poses can really help to shift how you feel physically and mentally. If you're feeling inspired to learn more about this very potent practice, I would recommend you hop on over to the Frog Project's website, where you can find more information on our upcoming training. We're hosting a 3-week Yin Yoga immersion that'll give you the opportunity to really learn about all the different postures of Yin Yoga, how to modify them for your body, especially if you have had injury or such. But also you'll learn about the scientific underpinnings of the practice, on how to practice safely, as well as all the philosophy. So where Yin Yoga comes from and what are the energetics of the practice. The training will be a 3-week immersion that will happen live, face-to-face on Zoom. So feel free to have a look, get back to us if you have any questions, and we look forward to seeing you there.